Carlos was the second nameable storm of 2017, the first named operationally, and the first hurricane-strength cyclone of the year worldwide. Carlos ended a significant storm drought and affected the Mascarene Islands in early February. As a matter of irony, the initial forecast for Cyclone Carlos was arguably the most accurate, at least in terms of track, intensity and timing. However, the forecast twice called for a tropical storm landfall on Réunion, which never materialized. The first forecast for Carlos also called for the storm to become a hurricane-strength cyclone by the time the storm had cleared Réunion, which did occur. During the storm, Force 13's forecast closely followed RSMC La Réunion's forecast, which turned out to be more accurate than the Joint Typhoon Warning Center's products or any individual computer model. Most of the JTWC's forecasts overestimated the storm, though this error diminished over time as the storm remained weaker than forecasted. The HWRF model, which was the top performer in 2016, was a distant outlier during Carlos, with most of its simulations predicting a major hurricane-strength cyclone, in particular one instance where the storm was forecasted to stall near Madagascar as a Category 4 cyclone for several days. Upon naming of Cyclone Carlos on February the 4th, Meteo France issued a cyclone pre-alert for Réunion Island, a state of alert that was never upgraded during the passage of the storm. However, as the storm drew near, rain warnings were issued for the northeastern half of the island. Later, during Carlos's large flare-up to the west of Réunion, rainfall and convective activity affected the western side of the island too. In Mauritius, a Class 1 warning was issued shortly after the formation of Carlos and was upgraded to Class 2 warnings on February the 5th, when the storm was around 200 miles away. Whilst it appeared for a short time as though Class 3 warning criteria had been met, the warning was never raised. Ultimately, Carlos never made landfall, though it passed within 150 miles of Mauritius and 100 miles from Réunion. As wind shear pushed the storm's convection to the southeast, rainfall over Mauritius was significant as a result. The highest 24-hour rain total was 242.2 mm at Mare aux Vacances in the southern half of the island. The strongest sustained wind was at Limorne, where winds reached 70 miles per hour. Minor to moderate flooding was reported in Mauritius, particularly on the eastern side of the island. Conditions in Réunion are unknown, but not thought to be particularly severe. Force 13 issued 4 video updates on Cyclone Carlos and 2 hours of live coverage. The storm updates were unexpectedly popular given its lack of intensity, and viewer interaction was high. Viewer approval rating during the storm was 96%. The target audience for the storm updates was reached more on this instance than at any other time in the past, with over 38,000 viewers in Mauritius, 2,500 in Réunion, 2,100 in South Africa, and nearly 1,000 in France, among other countries. Coverage on Carlos did cease after the storm cleared the island of Réunion, and after Force 13 HQ experienced technical difficulties on February the 6th. Comments, suggestions and inquiries should be directed to force13@hotmail.co.uk or any of Force 13's online platforms.